Welcome to another episode of Idiot Entrepreneur, reminding you that no one's smarter than you. All right, guys, so I hope everybody's doing well. In this episode, we're going to be talking about expecting the unexpected. And this is a big one, guys, because there's a lot of shit in life that happens that's really unexpected, as we all know. You have a baby on the way, you have some crazy shit happening, your business is going south, um, all sorts of shit. You guys know. Expect the unexpected. And in this episode, we're going to go over 6 points of how to get you through unexpected times. And I think this is going to be really helpful for anyone, especially if you own a business or even in your personal life. I think these 6 points make all the difference in terms of preparing for the unknown, which is basically life as a whole. You can only control certain factors, but prepare for the unexpected because you never know what's going to happen, especially right now in mid-April 2020. The coronavirus is taking shit over and causing a lot of issues with the economy. People are dying. There's a lot of shit that's going on that is unexpected. No one saw this coming, and you need to know what you should do in preparation for when things go south. All right, so let's get right into it. 6 points. The first point is save cash. And I think this is very obvious. You got to save some money. It seems like it's common sense. Not many people do that, unfortunately. I've been guilty of that in the past. And you only realize how much money you gotta have. You gotta have a cushion in the event that some shit happens and you need money. This is very true in personal life and obviously business. If you have a business that's a living, breathing thing, that's what a business is. You gotta feed it the fuel it needs to survive, which is cash. I mean, it's very obvious to me. It goes without saying, but you gotta have some money saved up. A good example is Bill Gates. He has a year, he always said from the time he started Microsoft, he always had at least 1 year of operating expenses saved in the event that Microsoft needed it. And that was a byproduct of, just obvious preparation that not many people do, but makes perfect sense, right? So you got to have some money saved up in the event that there could be 1 month that goes by, 3 months that goes by, 6 months of absolutely, the unexpected. Let's say you have zero sales, economy's shot. There's a virus that nobody expected that caused everything to shut down. Save some cash. That's point number one. Number two is run lean. I think this point is really critical because when things go south, when bad things happen, you need to have an infrastructure for your business that it runs lean. It's only operating. Your business should only operate. This is just my 2 cents. Is that your business should only operate with the necessary expenses it needs to survive. You shouldn't have a lot of expenses that are unnecessary. For example, a fancy office, 5 business vehicles that you use for running your business that you don't really need. Let's say you only need 1. Why do you have 3? That kind of thing. Fancy office, nice vehicles for your company as your company car. Let's say also, what else? A personal assistant. All the extra shit that you can operate without spending that money on. Because what you realize is when money becomes tight, and that can happen very quickly, as we all know now, right? That's very obvious in the world, is that when money dries up quickly or stops coming in, the extras that you don't really need become very obvious, right? You'll say you have a lease, a 3-year lease on every one of these cars. What do you do now? You're fucking screwed is what's going to happen. Let's say you have a really expensive rent for your office. What do? you're stuck. You owe the landlord a bunch of money they don't have now. So, a good example of this is when Kelly, my business partner, and myself started our business 4 years ago. We, out of necessity, we didn't have a shit ton of cash to start it up, but we started it up with $200 actually, and we wanted to have our own office. We thought about it, but we live in New York City, and if you guys know anything about New York City, it's fucking expensive. So we ran it from our apartment, and that was running it remotely. We eliminated the need for an office that cost $10,000 a month for a 2,000 square foot office. That's just getting you a Manhattan, New York City rate, by the way. We decided that we said the hell with it. We're going to run this thing remotely and save our cash and use it for other things that were more important. Great example of running lean is using money that you could save to reinvest back into your business to grow it, right? So you can grow faster, quicker, and leaner. And running lean ties perfectly into the third point here, which point number 3 is be able to pivot fast. So pivoting means changing your course of direction, especially in business. So you have to understand how important it is when something's not working. Some external factor stops what you're doing and creates this urgent need to pivot, to change direction. A great example right now is gyms and studios in New York City. Some of them started because obviously they can't be large groups of people in one certain area because of the virus. And so what they started doing, for example, there's a bike studio here in New York City, cycling studio rather, and they started renting out their bikes to customers. And that's fucking genius, right? I mean, they basically took the equipment in their office and said, hey, for X amount of dollars for every month, you could bike at home. Just pick up this bike and you can bike and at home and do it from literally your living room. Super smart, right? I mean, you have to figure out other ways to make some cash when your hands are tied. Another example, for example, right now in our industry, the commercial cleaning industry, we realized, okay, a lot of businesses, we do B2B. Our business is B2B, business to business sales. So we clean other businesses. And what ended up happening is when a lot of these businesses shut down, we had to pivot. So what can we offer to help people provide value and also still keep business going? So we decided to get into sanitization. Obviously that applies directly to help other businesses reopen their business, keep existing businesses that are operating still functional by offering sanitization. That's not a typical service that's super high in demand. But we figured, okay, this is something we can do to help keep us afloat, and also provide value for everybody else out there. So the point here, guys, is be able to change your course of direction quick, because things will happen, and I guarantee you they'll happen so quickly, especially in just in life and business in general, is that things will happen that are unexpected so quickly. You have to be able to change your course of direction really, really fast. That's called pivoting, and you have to be able to do that. All right, so that's point number 3. Point number 4, get really good at being decisive and execute properly. You have to make decisions quick and execute them, meaning implement them, bring them to life properly. This is critical because if you take 5 years to make one decision, you're going to go out of business. If you take, in some cases, a week to make a decision, you're going to go out of business or you're screwed. And you're going to be hurting yourself, your business, and everybody that works for you or works with you. So the point here is that you can't be paralyzed by it can't be paralyzed by analysis. It's called paralysis by analysis, and that's actually a term I've read before. And it basically means when you sit down and think about something for a very long period of time and nothing happens because you're analyzing every possibility, that doesn't really make any, that doesn't really move the needle. So you end up thinking about something constantly only to never make a decision at the end anyway. Don't make that mistake. Be decisive in your decision making, get good at it, and execute properly. And that comes through making a lot of decisions, sometimes some really bad decisions, sometimes some really good decisions. But you have to, the only way to get good at this is to make decisions quick, kind of shoot first, ask questions later. And I've always been that's sort of my mentality personally, is shoot first, make a decision. And sometimes a lot of times when you get good at it, a lot of times that decision is the right decision, and sometimes it's a complete opposite. And you don't really have a 100% way, bulletproof way of knowing that it's going to be the right decision, but you got to make one. And taking any action is better than no action at all. All right, guys. So make sure you are decisive and are quick in your decision making and execute it properly. So that's point number 4. Really important to understand. Point number 5, don't focus on specific outcomes. All right. So let's say your goal is to make $10 million this year, and that was your do or die goal for the year. You made $7 million last year, $5 million last year, and you wanted to double it this year. Don't focus on a specific outcome when the unexpected happens. You have to understand, you have to know when shit's out of your, you can't do anything about a certain situation that's completely out of your control, and you can't be hung up on a certain outcome that was your goal or your idea, and just become so put down, but that you can't reach that goal because it's not the desired outcome. That's going to happen a lot, by the way, guys. I think in life and business in general, you may have a certain outcome that you want and it doesn't happen for whatever reason. All you can really do is get up and try again. That's 1,000,000% true. I believe that 100%. So you have to realize that outcome may not be in your favor right now, but it doesn't mean tomorrow it can be. So don't get so put down and bogged down on one outcome that you never ever achieve it at all. So don't let that happen to you. Trust me, that's happened to me before. Just being so let down by not achieving something that you don't do it at all. So don't let that happen to you. Number 6, the last and final point is develop a bulletproof mindset. You have to understand that out of all of these 6 points I've made so far, save cash, number 1. Number 2, run lean. 3, be able to pivot fast. Number 4, get really good at being decisive and execute properly. Number 5, don't focus on specific outcomes. This last point, number 6, develop a bulletproof mindset, is the most important one you could have. And the reason why this is so important, because if you have a bulletproof mindset, everything else will fall into place. And I guarantee you, if you can get this right, I guarantee you, it will change your life. And not only just change your life, it'll change every decision you make in regards to your own personal life, your success, but also your mental health, even your physical health. You gotta have the mindset of a winner that succeeds with no other options. You can't let you can't have another option. If you give yourself an out or another option, you will fail because you'll make it too easy for yourself, by giving yourself an out. So you have to develop a bulletproof mindset. And how do you do that? That's a big question. And you can there's books about this, and it's hard to address every single point in a podcast, but I can tell you that comes through experience. It comes through time. It comes through making mistakes. It comes through failing. And, really experience is just a collection of mistakes that you make over time. And you learn from those mistakes and you apply them and don't repeat those mistakes. So you got to build a mindset that is indestructible. No one else can beat it. When you fall down 7 times, you get up 8 times. That's what you really need to know here. The way to go about doing that is to read, listen to other successful people, listen to people who've quote made it, and look at their habits, look at what they do. Understand that it's just not you only. This is to me personally, I think it's a lifelong learning process. You have to develop a bulletproof mindset. This is something that we talk about a lot in this podcast, in the Idiot Entrepreneur podcast. And we specifically to the situation, expecting the unexpected, you have to have a mindset that is indestructible. No questions asked, 100%. You take that away. If you can take one thing away from this episode, take it away that you need to have a bulletproof mindset. You have to be strong. So those were the 6 points, guys. And I think I wanted to keep this short and sweet. It's midnight, actually 1 a.m. here in New York City, but I wanted to get this podcast out to you guys. So you guys, if you're listening to it, hopefully you found it helpful. If you learned anything beneficial, we ask that you tell other people about our podcast. Our goal is to really build out this podcast and to develop basically a library of information that anybody can obtain, use, apply to their life, and really get a lot of value out of this. So we ask you to spread the word. Tell other people that you know about this podcast, because it really does help us out. And by the way, Kelly, my partner, is also not on this episode because she's off today. So it's just me. You guys just get me. Sorry, guys. And there's more to come. A lot of more great episodes to come. We're going to try to crank out 2 to 3 episodes per week. That's what we promised you guys, and that's what we'll keep on coming. Hope you found this helpful. And until the next episode, remember, no one's smarter than you, idiot entrepreneur.